Thanks for tuning into the Pre-Patch Podcast. Check out these patch notes.
Talking about BlizzCon and some of the announcements that happened there, but it is very weird to see these companies, yes, go backward to to gain popularity and success. No, I don't disagree.
And we as consumers are to blame because it works.
But
yeah.
I will
they
say,
play on our nostalgia. It's the same. You
up.
can make the same argument with the remake saga, where remakes are just banking on nostalgia of people enjoying the original games.
I will say though that the thing where I will at least give some credit where credit is due is that like Fortnite's free to play. Is it lazy development in the sense of you're not developing anything new? Absolutely, that is lazy, right? At least it's free to play. That doesn't cost any money. WoW Classic is built into WoW subscription, so it doesn't cost you anything extra if you do want to play WoW. Like I prefer Classic. I don't like retail that much as much or whatever else. I want to play Classic WoW, so I had that ability to at least go back and play that. So you know, that's my kind of cup of tea. So I would say at least it's a fan service to go and say, hey, you can still play, like I would say WoW over any of them. You are still able to play this version of this game if you prefer this version versus playing the new version if you do not like said new version.
Right. You're still paying for it.
Right,
in the long run. Like if you're not wanting to, like that was my biggest problem with WoW Classic was like the fact that they lumped it into the subscription. And granted, 100%.
I mean, they could have charged you. They could have charged you for just WoW Classic.
Let me finish. I like though you could have said like, oh, it's free because you know you're still only paying for one subscription. You're still only paying for the main subscription. But if like you're like myself or like you, Sin, like I don't want to play fucking retail. I have no interest in playing retail. So technically I'm still paying $15 a month for 17-year-old game, 16-year-old game, somewhere on there.
I mean, yeah, so
this is very weird.
Yes, and you know, but I also
saying there's not two separate subs.
No, it's one sub. You pay one sub and you get both.
And you play both. Yeah.
I even subbed to it. I forgot. I thought it was two separate subs.
So and actually right now you have three different versions of the game. What did you just say? Did you say it should be?
It should be two separate subs. One
You're crazy.
A cheaper sub for Classic and
absolutely fucking not.
It should be free. Should be free.
Free. I don't know.
And there's no way. No. Why would you? No. What? So because then I think absolutely that's wrong to say like I would. There's no way in hell I would be like, oh, let me pay $5 a month to play a class. I would be more pissed off about that.
If you want to play both, I don't know, but
I would be way more pissed off about that.
Like Enigma was saying, if somebody wants to just go play Classic, which is a 17-year-old game, and not want to pay full price for like retail and everything, they should separate it and have like a package deal, you know,
or
disagree. Just one or the other.
I think it should be a combined because I don't know. People, I don't see that being as successful. We'll be getting to each his own, but
maybe not. I don't know.
But I mean, right now with WoW, you have three versions. You can play Classic WoW, you can play Classic Hardcore, or you can play the retail WoW. But this all kind of goes into BlizzCon. BlizzCon just happened, and there was a bunch of news that Blizzard kind of announced. Some stuff we were expecting, some stuff we weren't. We're going to start off with Diablo 4. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this because am I over the age of 17? Yes, we are over the age of 17. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on this. So Diablo 4 is having their first, is there a way to loop it? Their first expansion called Vessel of Hatred that is going to be launching at some point in time in 2024.
Okay. Fix the game first, then we'll talk about paying more.
So we don't know when the expansion is dropping. I'm assuming it'll probably drop at the holiday season, like end of the year. Or within like I would say end of summer if at the earliest. I can't see them really doing anything sooner than that.
I can. Because I guarantee you this content's already done.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
What he said. Yeah.
I mean, sure. I don't know.
I like how there was a long pause right there. Like you had any argument for that? Like you know it's done already, dude.
I mean,
like,
I'm just trying. I'm trying to think that. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I was actually reading chat with what Cecilia said, and I actually, or Celia said, I actually agree with that statement more. Is that I think it's too early. Right, like to me, dropping
100%.
Fix the fucking game before you charge me more money. You haven't given me the game's base value yet.
Well,
I mean,
especially
I've gotten the base value out of it,
the fact especially considering the fact that we've literally only had 2 seasons. The first season was laughable at best. Like people were just like, yeah, this is weird. It was literally no content you could have made. This is just an update, right? And we've seen that with this latest season. They took the was it the rings from the
malignant season. They brought it back.
The
Yeah.
malignant
they
rings,
brought it back. Yeah, so obviously
in a
it
way,
wasn't
they brought
enough
it
for
away.
a season, right? Like to me personally, I
Well,
don't feel like it was enough for a season.
I don't disagree
in and of itself.
I don't disagree that I think that it wasn't enough of a season. I think they could have combined season 1 and season 2 and made this like a
100%,
the same thing. I do think that them bringing back malignant rings, and keep in mind they're not bringing back
That's
all
a
of the
huge good decision.
Right, they're not bringing back all of malignant rings. It's just key certain things that like we as a thing.
I don't care
like
about the rest of them.
Auto summon.
I don't give a shit about the rest of the malignant if they don't bring back the necromancer stuff. Though,
no, they did.
terrible.
That's there. But what I would say is like the big issue that I was having was like you should do what Pat like. Even though I gripe about what Path of Exile does sometimes with like them having so much shit, I think them going and saying, hey, we're going to pick small little items out and we're going to keep this in as a core piece of the game is something that should happen, because I don't want to have like it feels weird to have like my vampiric powers all of a sudden fucking gutted from me just because we're in a new season and now that's gone. Like lore wise, it's weird. So
well,
it just
especially sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, especially since just talking about the malignant hearts, right? The malignant hearts changed the game for certain classes like the necro to a point that it not having that malignant heart makes the class feel worse, you know. So it's one of those things where it's like to remove that, then that was one of the biggest reasons why I didn't play the start of the new season, was because I was like, there's literally no reason for me to play the new season because the class that I want to play is in an arguably worse state. Yeah.
I think that, I mean, what I'll say about this is that we are getting a new zone, right? We're getting a whole new area, and I'm not going back and forth saying whether this is right or wrong. I think we all agree that this is like too soon. You know, even if it's coming a year, you know, later, you know, I think you could have done more content, more updates. This probably, depending on what the content is, you know, how big of an update is it, an expansion? How much is this going to cost? We don't know all of those things, but we are getting to a new region called Nahunta, where we're supposed to deal with the fate of Mephisto and his plans for Sanctuary. We are supposed to get a never before seen class that has never been in Diablo, period.
Okay, that's what I was about to say. This entire like the little like over like camera panning over that little area reminded me very heavily of like the Witch Doctor. So I was curious if it was going to be like
it's supposed to be a never before seen class. Like we have not had it. You know, people were
originally going to port the Vampire Hunter.
I mean,
not yet. I
think they will.
Well, I think a lot of it. I think their whole thing with the Vampire Hunter with this was that a lot of like the vampiric powers that you got, if you actually compare them, like I watched a comparative analysis, they're very, very similar, right? So it's still lazy development in the sense that they took that and they were like, oh, well, let's just take the powers and just throw it into Diablo.
I said that when they announced it, that was like the power. Every power that they showcased was just a direct copy from the Diablo Immortal. Yeah.
What I will say though is that the new, I think I'm the only one out of the group that has played the new season. You know, and I'm level 60. It really is a good season. The characters feel fucking great. Like you feel powerful. You feel
I've heard leveling's a lot quicker and like
that's
more
what I was about to say.
as well too.
Yeah. I mean,
I've heard that like the grind and the leveling, the time that it takes
like
to get from 0
there's a lot to
do 100 is a lot less.
You know, like you're hunting you have the vampire hunting
instead of grinding for level, which is
the
way this game should be.
Which is what Diablo should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
as far as right now goes, they're almost to where it should have been at launch, in my opinion.
At launch.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I can overlook some of the issues that are there. Am I going to say that this game is perfect and phenomenal? No, absolutely not. Am I going to say it's a fun time? Absolutely. No, it's not game of the year. Like this doesn't deserve, even though Lilith, I'm not, close your ears, honey. It's okay. Even though I have, and I already will. I mean, I spent $500 on the season before it dropped, or when it dropped. So I do love the game. I think it's a fun time.
I think it's
you
an
know.
okay game.
I mean,
think
it's fine. I think it's yeah.
It's
I'm not.
starting to get to that point where it could be a good game. I don't think it's personally, in my opinion, a great game, but it's an okay game. It's definitely
Sure.
definitely an okay Diablo for me. But I'm excited to see more from it because I personally feel like this is just content that they held back. So I'm curious when it'll actually release.
Here's what I want.
Did they say when this is going to release?
No, late
They have
2020,
sort of
late
timeframe?
2024.
2024.
I'm expecting holiday 2024, like a year from now.
Yeah.
Do you think that's enough time to really get the game into a
Oh,
place
absolutely.
that it's
They
going to
could
be good and fun?
Me and Enigma have talked
They
about
have
this.
to.
I think
They
I think
have
two
to,
more.
yeah.
I think 2 more seasons. I think they get season 3,
Yeah.
season 4. By that time, I think the
Season
game will be where
4
it needs to be.
I was talking to Crow Templar yesterday, I think, and we were just talking because he was playing a little bit through it, and I was like, yeah, I'll probably come back in season 4 because I personally feel like season 4, season 5 is when they're gonna iron everything out, and the game's gonna be what it should have been when it released, right? But I the one thing I will say is like I have heard that it is progressively like every season it has gotten better. I will say that the last season, while not a lot of content, it did do some good things for some of the classes. Again, i.e., the fucking necromancer with the malignant heart stuff. So we'll see what they do. I'm curious to see how much development they actually put into this next
I mean, I want
expansion.
what I'm happy about this is that I want them to treat Diablo of like how they. This is gonna be a hot statement. How they treat World of Warcraft, but I mean not how like they've dumped on it, but like how they how they have kept love and passion for World of Warcraft and trying to kind of keep it going. I want them to keep that for Diablo. I mean, I love Diablo.
Passion,
So-
sure, we'll go with that.
I mean, bro, Blizzard's about to go on their They just announced 3 expansions. They're about to go on their 13th fucking expansion. If you're gonna sit here and tell me that they don't love WoW, you're crazy. Like
They love the money WoW generates.
I was about to say they love the money. I will 100% state that. Yeah, 100%.
I
They
think
love
that-
the
To the
money.
point they've got their player-based Stockholm syndrome because the people have committed how many years of their life to this game and they're not going to give it up now.
But I
they've
think that
butchered
there's
the fuck out of the lore. Like
I'm
And
not
they're
saying-
bringing in new players is the problem. They're not bringing in new players.
I'm not saying that they haven't butchered the lore. I'm just saying that the people that are there, you bring back people like Chris Metzen, you have people that are developing. Like I do think there is a love for WoW and World of Warcraft. I mean, regardless of all the shit that we talk, World of Warcraft has been around for for a shit ton of time. It has more. There's only been 2 MMOs that out there that have held this, and it's WoW and Final Fantasy. That's it. Like give as much as WoW like has completely driven their mechanics and shit into the ground.
By the way.
I don't even know if I would not
Ultima
consider
Online.
No. There's no fucking world you're gonna sit there and tell me that
RuneScape,
RuneScape and ORSR
RuneScape 100% I will.
does not have
100% I will.
how many there's let me finish.
RuneScape just released a new the Necromancer class.
That's great.
Like
there
5
is
months
not
ago.
nearly as many players that consistently play OS or old school RuneScape as there are for Final Fantasy 14 or WoW. There's not. I
never said
That's
there
what
was.
I'm saying.
We're just
That's all I'm
that-
saying. Those 2 are the most dominant, most like, I mean, the biggest 2 names in the MMO space. Like it is. Like if you go to most MMO player or an MMO
RuneScape has
fan,
500,000 daily players.
Congratulations.
that's
WoW
nowhere
does that.
near
WoW
WoW.
does
It's ranked number 14 on the MMO tracker.
Yeah, Classic does that with a fucking shitty update. I mean, I'm just all I'm trying to say is that there is a love and there is a passion for what they're trying to do, and that yes, I don't disagree. They're not getting new players. I think Metzen, I think them, and some of the updates that like Xbox is trying to say is
dude, that's why they should have went to Game Pass, bro.
I will agree. I will agree that I think that now that they're out of the heel of Activision, yes, the developers themselves probably have a love for the game, but the company underneath Activision had zero fucking love for
which
the
I
game.
think which I think jumps ahead a little bit of what we're going to show here. But like this statement right here that that Phil basically said and it broke. Jason Schreier broke the story, is that Phil said, we want you guys to operate as an independent company. Like, do your shit.
Yeah.
That is huge for Blizzard. And if you are a Blizzard fan, that is fucking huge. because they have not had that. This company has been in the dark, in the closet, and the people running it. And I'm not giving, Mike Ybarra or any of these fucking CEOs or whatever else that had people like passes, but I do believe that Bobby was a black cloud that like lingered over this company and brought it down into the depths of hell.
In general, yeah, like
so
you could definitely see the quality when they went underneath Activision. You could see that the quality was there. It's just the love for the game kind of or the love for developing the game seemed to have diminished just because it went into more of like a corporate thing rather than like an individual entity that was developing the game for the game rather than for Activision's pocketbooks essentially. So
yeah, and I mean I like bringing Chris Metzen back, huge. Fucking huge. Having him on stage, fucking huge.
I'm extremely excited to see what Chris Metzen does, and I'm extremely excited to see the direction that Blizzard takes and that World of Warcraft takes now that they're not under that foot. And now that we've seen Metzen was the original founder, was one of the original founders.
Oh, okay.
Like
Of WoW,
the company,
of
the
company.
Like
he was the director. He was basically lead director for World of Warcraft, and now he is back in that role of basically being like president of fucking WoW. Like he is WoW now. So this is his chance. And if there's one person that you want to trust, if you're a World of Warcraft person, it's fucking Metzen. Like this is his big opportunity to really go in and make something happen. And I think, this announcement.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. He was not one of the original founders, but he was one of the original like heads of the company, basically, or one of the original big names of the company.
One of the very first things that he announced, and this is what I want to talk about with you guys, as everybody in here has played Final Fantasy 14. Everybody in here, minus myself, loves the story of Final Fantasy 14. Well, okay, I don't. It's not a bad story. I just don't care about it. But to me,
don't worry.
To me, this him coming out and saying, "Hey, we are starting what's known as the World Soul Saga." Everybody for the last fucking 5 years has said, "Where's WoW 2? Where's WoW 2? Where's WoW 2?" I really think that this is them ending it blowing up World of Warcraft and basically having Azeroth Reborn or whatever they're going to call it, and it being WoW 2. Right? They're going to go a Final Fantasy 14 route and say, Bahamut fucking destroyed everything now, because the very last, the 3 expansions that we know are coming is the War Within, which, by the way, this cinema, I don't care who you are. If you can't watch this cinema and go, this is a fucking masterpiece.
It's the one thing Blizzard's good at.
That's what I said when it released, is like Blizzard's always been known for killing the fucking cinematics, but like
I've never looked at Andy and been like, dude, that dude's a motherfucking badass right there, bro.
The cinematics are one thing, but like you get a bad, like that was BFA. Like BFA's cinematic when you had that shot of what's his name coming up over the ramparts and looking out over that war, that just complete desolation of a field, and like that entire cinematic made me so fucking hyped for BFA, and then the game came out and it was just complete fucking trash. I'm sorry, but it was,
I don't think anybody disagree.
My question,
like, they're very well known for that.
Fail.
Yeah, well, because it wasn't
made by Blizzard.
Yeah, it wasn't made by Blizzard. No, no, it was another. They were just, it was just like the Marvel licenses back in the day. Like they just licensed it out. But anyway, so we have the War Within, which is the next expansion. We then have what is the next it's the World Within.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Midnight is the second one, and then the Last Titan, which obviously that one right there, the Last Titan, to me sounds like this is them blowing it up. Like the Titan is coming back. He's gonna fucking end it all and restart. Thoughts? Like, do you think that can work with this?
I don't know, man. I've been of a mind that like we need World of Warcraft 2, or we need to have like some kind of an update for World of Warcraft that brings it into the modern age for a really long time now. I personally am not so sure that, as much as I like Metzen, as much as I love Metzen, I'm not so sure he is a Yoshi P for Blizzard. I don't know if he can do what Yoshi P did for Final Fantasy 14. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
I think so. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm happy about this. I think this is all steps in the right direction. We're getting 3 new expansions. Very, very quickly, kind of like it's not gonna take as long as what it was used to taking. You know, uh, they're telling
well, and see that right there worries me as well, because it's like we're used to having like years, like a couple of years between expansions. You know, if we're having just a rapid fire expansion release, what's the quality of those expansions going to be?
Well,
right?
I think what they're saying is you're still gonna get the time frame between them, but you understanding what's happening and the movement from that expansion to this expansion is faster. So normally it's a longer time frame from when the expansion gets announced to the raid, to last raid, and then you have to wait, and you're just sitting there with like the last raid before the next
Yeah.
expansion. There's what he's saying in here, and what's understood is that basically the War Within will drop. You will start content within the War Within. You'll have a 2-year cycle, but within that 2-year, but like you will have faster raids coming out, like a better progression into the next expansion. So like the last raid will drop, and then you have like 6 weeks, and the next expansion drops.
Huh?
Is what they're is
Yeah,
kind
I
of
don't know
what
how to feel about that.
what's the next thing. The other thing that they talked about was this, which I don't know. As a classic player, they're now going to Cataclysm. Like which I loved Cataclysm, but
Cataclysm was great.
I don't know.
Talk about like a Final Fantasy-esque. This is where it should have happened, honestly. Like this story right here is where World of Warcraft should have been decimated and World of Warcraft 2 should have started. Right? Like,
well, also the joke is like that sword. What sword? Like the when fucking what's his name? Sargeras jammed the damn sword in the fucking earth of Azeroth. Everyone's like, okay, so that ended it. Oh no, we're just not gonna talk about the sword sticking out of the fucking world. Okay, cool. But now they're obviously going back to it. But yeah, Cataclysm. I agree, man. Deathwing, dude, I loved it, dude. When it completely like I remember,
was amazing.
Going into
Deathwing was World of Warcraft's Bahamut, essentially. Like that was this entire story. Cataclysm is what a Realm Reborn was, right? Like this is the starting of a Realm Reborn, essentially. This is what should have ended World of Warcraft and then moved into either World of Warcraft or Warcraft Reforged or whatever you want to call it, the next instance of World of Warcraft, essentially. So
poor Bill and Scruffy, they're so bored.
When they saw Warcraft, they knew what was going to happen. It was going to be me and you nerding out.
That's what I've been enjoying. I'm just like, these guys are such nerds.
So here's
you got to remember, this is the shit that we've been playing since I was a child, bro.
I understand the investment. I really do.
I mean, yeah, it's so here's the other, and don't worry, Scruffy, we have something for you coming up. The very next time, like thing in this is going to be something that you'll be excited about. At least I think. I don't know, but so the question, I guess, more posed to Enigma. So the issue that I have with this is that I don't know if they're going to do a separate tier in the launcher for this, because that's what people are saying is like, wait, like right now you have classic era, and then you have Wrath of Lich King. Right? No, you have Wrath of Lich King.
Wrath. That's what I meant. Yeah, Wrath. Yeah.
So,
but prior to that, you had TBC as a secondary, as like every bit of progression that they've ever done has been like on a different server, essentially.
Up until. Well, you had to load the game, so like you had to install Wrath of Lich King. But it was but you installed, so it went classic, and then that was it, and I had classic era. And then once TBC came out, you installed TBC, but and so that's normal, because you either play classic or TBC. But then when Wrath came out, you installed Wrath, it overtook TBC. So you could still do the TBC content, but you couldn't stay within that TBC world. So this is, people are like, are you going to do make this its own instance, right? Because you are also talking about like completely wrecking the world. So like, if I want to play pre-wrecked but I don't want to play just classic, well, how do I do it? Like,
well, that was my original thought. Like I originally thought that was how it happened to begin with, was like every iteration of classic was its own its own thing. You know, I was surprised when you told me that was not the case, which to me that's a loss on Blizzard's part. Like there are people out there that are like, I just want to play the Burning Crusade, or I just want to play Wrath of the Lich King.
Base, though, is the problem.
Yeah, but you're still going to split the player base, because there are people that religiously are like, I don't want to play Cataclysm.
Yeah.
So you're already going to split the player base, because those people that don't want to play Cataclysm and just want to play, TBC, are just going to go to a private server that runs only TBC.
Yeah, because the problem is that you don't. It doesn't stop like the leveling process. It doesn't stop like that kind of stuff, and it makes the gear like unimportant. So essentially, what happens is if I want to play only Wrath and only do ICC, but you load Cataclysm, well, now my level automatically goes up. It makes Right. It makes ICC pointless.
Not only that, but like some of those areas are completely changed.
Right. So it's
because Cataclysm completely redid the map in some instances. So
I mean, this was a lot of people said Wrath and Mist are their favorite, right? Cataclysm for me was my favorite. Like,
yeah, that's Wrath of the Lich King is my personal favorite, and then I Pandera was my second favorite, essentially.
Yeah, see, I love
Cataclysm. I didn't mind Cataclysm. I felt the Cataclysm should have been the end of World of Warcraft, even back when Cataclysm started. I was like, this should have been the end, and we should have went into number 2. You know,
how fast do you think we're gonna get to, like, do you think that there's a stop to Classic, them redoing this? Like, are
there
we
has
gonna
to be? Like, we've talked about it before. Like, there's, at this rate, within the next 2 years, we're gonna be to
we're classic retail. Like, what?
We're gonna be classic retail. Yeah, like, we're gonna be classic BFA, right, in 2 years.
I have to believe
that's the play. Maybe they're going to transfer the mainline server into Warcraft 2 or whatever it is, and then classic is going to be the old world.
Yeah, but they're still going to run into that same issue of, like, people don't want to play Mist of Pandora. People don't want to play Cataclysm, right? They're still going to have to separate those out, because there are a huge subsect of the player base that are just like, I don't want to play any of the new shit. I just want to play classic.
Yeah, I think they could maybe they could do something like how they do with hardcore, where they have like classic, but two servers are hardcore servers, then they could do hey, you have 2 servers that are TBC, 2 servers that are Wrath, whatever. I mean,
it's gonna be a very interesting one.
I don't know how they're gonna
handle it. Always in their plans to go down this route, because I thought
go down
when they released Classic, they weren't going to be adding.
Well, originally they said they weren't going to, but then Classic took the fuck off, and everybody was like, "Oh shit." Yeah,
and now they're just going down the route of adding the expansions.
I think that they legitimately will stop with Pandera, because no one really talks about expansions past Pandera being like their loved expansions.
Nobody liked what was the one between Pandera and Demon, the I can't remember the name of it now. It was the most underrated, or everybody hated it. I can't remember what it was called though.
Warlords. Something about Warlords of Draenor.
Warlords of Draenor. Yes, Warlords of Draenor. Like for a huge subsect of the player base, was the worst.
Yeah,
game.
I don't think they'll go back to Warlords, but the other thing that they announced for Classic was Season of Discovery. So this Season of Discovery actually is very soon. This is happening on November 30th. And they described it as vanilla World of Warcraft with a twist, which pretty much everyone's like Classic Plus. And they wouldn't say Classic Plus, because that's why I still think that they're going to destroy the world and make Classic Plus is basically going to be WoW 2. But essentially, this is what we know as classless WoW. In a way, it's not full classless WoW, but you're gonna have.
Has that been confirmed?
What?
That it's classless?
It's not class. It's not. No. It's not classless. You have class altering abilities. So you're gonna have like a mage tank. You're gonna have a healer.
This is what you were saying, that it was in.
It was kind of copying Ascension, yeah. Because they have like a lot of class altering abilities. You have like warlock healers. You have hunter. What was one of the things that they had, like hunter mages. So all of these things that like we know in in Ascension is kind of some of these things are coming here. Level
It still doesn't sound as in depth as Ascension.
Oh hell
as
no.
Ascension.
No.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Ascension is like lawless. Like you can do whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
you
Ascension.
Want, pretty much.
Ascension is a
It's
playground
It's
for
a
your
daunting
imagination, essentially.
task, dude. It is so daunting
It is.
sometimes, bro.
It is.
But
Does
it's
it ever get annoying, Blizzard, like taking
Stealing people's
stuff,
ideas?
Stealing.
even
'Cause
if
first
it's
it
not
was
like
hardcore,
completely
right?
integrated?
Yeah.
I mean, so to answer your question, to answer yes, I do feel like it's annoying that they do, or is it? Do I feel like it's right that they do it? No. Is it lazy?
No,
Yes.
it just doesn't bother you.
So here's why I say no in a way is because like hardcore, I don't want to go through all the bullshit. I want to play hardcore, but I don't want to go through all the bullshit of loading the add-ons and trying to get that shit to work or doing all these other kind of things that I have to do. And like, you know, what, like, this is like, cool. We're going to give you a hardcore server. Okay. Yeah. Did you just dick over the people that did that for
I was
years?
about
Absolutely.
to say, yeah, you're not wanting to support the little guys that have been building it from the ground up. You'd rather support Big Daddy Corpo because it's convenient.
Sin's a whale, man. He needs the platform to
That's
whale
not
on.
what I said. I didn't say dick over the little guys. I'm just saying that
by effectively choosing the official hardcore servers over the the community run ones, that's dicking over the little guy.
Okay, well, let me pose you the same question. So, if you go right now, and I want to, and let's go biodiesel for your vehicle, right? So you could go and you could go biodiesel. There's a guy in your in your neck of the woods within probably a fucking 1,000-mile radius that you could pay to take your car and make it biodiesel. It's a lot of a hassle, but you could do it, right? That's the little guy, and you don't have to pay Big Papa, gas company. But you don't choose to do that. Why? Because it's not convenient. Right. So it's the same thing. Right. It's not, but you're not saying that guy's a dick or that you don't want to support him. You're just saying, hey, that's not for me. I don't want to do that. Right. Or even if like, I'll make it even closer. If your next door neighbor did it, right, you're still not going to want to do it because it's a hassle to have to go through all of it. It's the same reason that like people don't accept electric cars. Yeah. Electric cars are a lot easier, but it's also a hassle to have to charge them, find charging stations, things like that. So
don't you have an electric car?
Yeah, but I am okay with that. Like dealing with that, and I did the brunt. But I'm just
we've dedicated and we've seen sin as a whale.
It's not about being a whale. I'm just saying that sometimes, yeah, ease of it. And I would hope, and my hope is, and I know they didn't, that Blizzard would pay these guys, or say, hey, come work for us, right? And we'll whatever. I don't think that happened, and that's a shame. And I'm not saying it's right. But if you're gonna tell me ease of use, yeah, it is an easier experience than having to install these mods and do all this stuff.
I think a better comparison is let's go back to your biodiesel analogy. You have your neighbor across the way that makes biodiesel. He can only make it small batch though, so you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, or you have to go there more often to refill it. But then the gas company in town catches wind of it and they steal the recipe, and they have way better production on it, so they're able to get it to you in much higher volumes for a little bit higher of a cost. That's more accurate to the analogy.
And I guarantee that you would still do the same. You would do the same thing. You would still continue to use, or you would go with whatever is the most convenient. We're creatures of habit. We're creatures of nature. We don't like resistance. We don't like things that are overly difficult or whatever else, and that's why we go down the route. I'm just saying that WoW makes it easy. Like Blizzard made it easier to play hardcore servers, right? That's it. I'm not saying it's better. I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm just saying it's my preferred method to play that versus installing these mods.
Does hardcore cost anything?
No.
The hardcore servers?
No.
It costs you.
I mean, the same subscription that you would, that you would normally.
But you would need that for the hardcore.
Correct.
Like the hardcore. Okay.
Yes,
you would need it for the mods as well.
Okay.
So
that's fine.
Yeah.
It's weird,
unless you were playing on a hardcore free to play server.
I get what you're saying, but
I
just get constantly like put out just seeing Blizzard yoinking mod ideas and then making them official.
But it's dumb. Granted, they did do like one of the better things that they did for the current iteration was they took their UI, they took the mods UI, like the ability to like edit your UI, and they integrated that just into retail, right? Which was a great iteration. We needed that for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, right? yeah, they do take things away from the community that are mod based and integrate it, but I don't know. I think that's any game these days
I mean, any developer,
in a lot of
anything, but
instances.
Blizzard is notorious for like not innovating. Like their big innovation on classic hardcore was like, oh, we're gonna add Magdara, which is a great innovation, but it's like you could have done a lot more with it, like versus just kind of ganking it and going, oh, cool. They saw Ascension, right? And they were like, oh, this has got some really cool things. We're gonna gank it and put it in ours in a little bit, right? And they're not gonna innovate properly. So that I think is wrong. Like, I mean, overall, but
Let's move off this.
Yep.
I think we've talked about World of Warcraft for far too long.
Scruffy has turned his camera off. He's like turned his light off. He's like, I'm going to bed. Scruffy, this part's for you. Overwatch 2, they got a new hero. It's called Malga, or I thought it was Maui. Honestly, I thought it was fucking.
It basically is Maui.
This is for you.
It is Maui.
This is for you.
Oh man, thank you so much for serving me some shit.
You're
Overwatch 2.
welcome.
I couldn't give a fucking shit less about it.
You're welcome. Well, you know who else can't give a fucking shit about it? Blizzard, because they obviously also
Yeah.
canceled the Overwatch League. There is no competitive Overwatch League
Well, we knew
anymore.
that was coming for a while. That's no surprise. They stated that I think this was going to be their last year with Overwatch League, or their last season or whatever.
Do you think Overwatch is fully, like, completely 100% dead? Like, do you think Blizzard is going to continue?
Dead. They're going to continue it. It's not dead.
it's
I don't know,
dying.
man.
It's dying, but it's not dead. It's still got a.
I think it's going the way of HOTS, bro.
It's got a decent
But
player
HOTS
base
is
still, but I
going,
definitely
man. Like,
I
don't
definitely think that it's not as
understand how
popular
that's
as it
going.
was.
Yeah, no, by far, especially after the switch of Overwatch 2, it definitely deterred. But teetered? Whatever
Deetered? What the hell is deetered? It deetered.
Deeter.
But yeah, no, it definitely is dying. And I can give a fucking shit less about it because after finally they give Hanzo some fucking love and give him this like really dope looking skin, man. And guess what? It's a mythic skin that you have to like grind for. And if you really want to buy it, it's 120 fucking bucks to buy it. Like,
Yep.
Ooh, that's
you.
expensive as shit.
I mean,
For a
is-
whale, I'm like,
is-
God damn.
Is no worse or no better than League's like $250 chromas. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
Wait, they have a
still, but-
$250 chroma?
yeah.
Well, like
The
What?
one
The ones
the
you gotta
recent one
grind
that they
for, right?
released
Like,
the recent one that they
the
released
season.
for Jin was like, I think that you have to grind for the mythic crystals or whatever,
yeah,
but
it's like a grind, but
essentially
if you
it
wanna pay
comes
to
out to
skip-
be like $250 roughly. Yeah.
if you want to pay to skip it. But
Wow.
anyways, that's I'm just ranting because
Christ.
of my hatred for Overwatch. So
It's such a weird character too, man. Like you can definitely tell that they went down the Maui route, and I'm just like,
it's so apparent.
why
It's
why
literally-
are
his name
you
is
so
Manga.
yeah why can't you just do something
Be
unique?
original? And that's all we've seen in these past two things
Yeah.
is Blizzard not being able to be original.
It's just a copy of another of another
Yeah.
character with a bit of a twist. Yeah.
man.
Yep.
So
Well-
Speaking of, there's more to that actually, because they actually stole like a lot of his moveset from that one Overwatch.
Of course they
competitor.
did. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the fuck that
Paladins,
game
right?
is. Paladins, yeah. He's
Oh, yeah.
got
Yeah,
a
of
very
course.
similar
they've
moveset
they've
to one of the characters in Paladins. He's got the
I don't
charge.
know.
He's got the like the double
Yeah.
gun thing. I think
That's
the only
the-
thing
Of
you
course
need
they
to
did.
as kid is the jump.
That's the one thing. I mean, I don't care so much about because it's still wrong. But every company, every hero shooter steals from each
granted,
other.
I was about to
That's
say
everybody.
Paladins
That's
stole
Paladins.
like
Paladins
every one
steals
of their
from-
fucking characters from the
Paladins steals
original
from Overwatch. Overwatch
Yeah,
steals from
true.
Paladins. League steals from Overwatch and Paladins. Like
And
they all,
Dota.
in
And
Dota, they
Dota,
all
yeah.
steal from each other. It's like, yeah, it's one big melting pot of just shit.
You don't want to bounce your
Yeah.
boobies in front of people on Overwatch?
I mean, I do, but not on Overwatch.
Okay.
Just for you guys.
What about Hearthstone? Because they got a new expansion, and
That game's still a thing.
People still play
they-
Hearthstone.
Yeah,
A lot of people still play
a
Hearthstone.
lot,
and
dude. It's
there's-
a
there's-
very, very popular game.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah,
It is
there-
extremely
there's,
popular.
There's several people in my community
I-
that are like still very heavily into it.
They
I
actually
forget about it a
crazy.
lot though.
They actually
I do too,
did
yeah.
a really dope thing with this
I
one
love
where
it.
making a catch-up mechanic where you can because the big thing about Hearthstone is like it's an impenetrable game to get into right now because if you haven't played for years and years and years and collected cards, like
why
you
I
get
stopped,
you get
yeah.
you get fucked.
You get dicked
Um,
over.
And so they've made this new system where like you can get caught up really quickly, and making it like a better experience. So
Really?
I might actually give it a
Cool.
try then, because
I-
that's the whole reason
That's
I
the
haven't
whole
played
reason
it.
I stopped playing. Yeah. 'Cause I fell behind and did not want to catch back
my
up.
biggest problem was like the meta in this game is extremely like I don't know. Well, okay, when I played, it was very bad. Like if you weren't playing meta,
Yeah.
you were fucked.
That's-
And
that's a lot of
don't know
these
if that's
games, but
still the
yeah,
case.
I don't know either.
But I don't know, man. They have a huge fan base.
If there's
Mhm.
that interests me actually.
Yep.
This
And they're coming out
interests me
with
more than fucking Overwatch.
they're coming out with like double dragon or two-headed dragon mode.
I remember
an emperor
I
mode,
used to
all that stuff.
love my Murloc deck. I love that shit.
Yeah. So
It was
um,
good shit.
they also officially I don't think they show it here, but they officially also launched Warcraft Rumble, which is a game that I am playing as well. Warcraft Rumble,
Mm.
it's a free-to-play mobile game. I really recommend giving it a try. If you are a fan of like the Warcraft universe, you also are a fan of
Clash of Clans, right?
like
Or
Clash of it's like a Clash of
Royale,
Clans, like
or-
no
I don't know,
Clash.
there's-
What's the one with like the two tower, like you have two towers and you kind of meet in the middle? That's Clash Royale, right?
I
Yeah,
think that's
Clash Royale. It's very much like Clash Royale, but on a more like difficult level. Like you have different routes you can take, meeting stones, different cards. You can do dungeons, you can do PvP. They have raids. It's really dope. Like it's free to play, really great game. You can actually I'll give it to Blizzard on this one. You can play that completely free without ever having to spending a fucking dime ounce
For now.
and be completely fine. Like you don't ever have to, like you earn all the currency, all the stuff like very easily. Yeah, maybe
You
that
don't
might
think
be.
that's gonna change.
Yeah, I mean
That's-
they'll obviously have like
Eventually this will
convenience.
change.
They'll
Yeah,
have
it's Blizzard,
convenience
man.
for sure, but I
Yeah.
mean this is done very, very well. It has a really
and
great
it's a
PvP
mobile
system.
Blizzard game. Yeah, that's gonna change.
Well, it's I'm hoping that it'll come to PC as well, but
But still, it's
yeah,
still a
but
mobile.
it's
plat-
really great,
uh,
looks great, runs great, phenomenal game.
system.
Go try it out. Warcraft Rumble, free to play. They also announced a
How
Diablo
much did they pay
tabletop.
you for that ad?
Don't worry about it.
They didn't pay him.
Don't worry about it.
He paid them.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
What are you talking
worry
about?
about it.
He paid them.
And then there's a Diablo tabletop game coming
Oh,
out
God.
as well. So that was BlizzCon.
One thing I want to say before we move on is like I was actually kind of like there was some good announcements, and like the thing with Phil Spencer and Chris Messin was great. I love that. But like honestly, like BlizzCon was kind of boring this year, in my opinion.
A lot of
Like
people that
the-
went there said it was the same thing. They were expecting
Yeah,
Game
it
Pass.
did
They were
not-
expecting
It did
big
not feel like the
swings.
BlizzCons of the past. Yeah.
yeah,
So-
they were expecting big swings. They were expecting
I thought you said dick swings.
no big
thing.
swings. A lot of
Sorry.
us were expecting
My
some type of
mind is
Game Pass
going.
like announcement. That never happened. I
I actually
think
heard there was a few people that were like upset that Phil Spencer was there and made a speech at all.
well, that's fucking stupid. Everybody knew he was
That's
going to
just
be there.
petty.
Why the fuck wouldn't you think
Yeah.
he's going to be there? He's been in Anaheim for like 2 weeks prior to. Like,
Yeah, but I don't know. People, I don't know the reasoning. I think people just were like, he's not Blizzard. Why is he here? That kind of.
oh,
thing.
I
Not
beg
fan.
He is
I
Blizzard
beg to
fan
differ.
no more.
$69 billion says different. like, so, I don't know, man. I think it's fine for him to be there.
Resistance.
I think him
Yeah.
being there is kind of should have been looked at, and how I look at it is like a turning
Should've
stone
looked
to
at it as a
say,
good thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
hey, you're no longer under the regime of Bobby Boy.
would-
Like,
I would much rather him than Bobby. Like, let's
Yeah.
be
True.
fucking real here.
Yeah.
Like,
Big true.
thank you for checking out the patch notes. If you enjoyed this small selection from our podcast, come and join us every other Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the full, unfiltered pre-patch podcast. And make sure you check out all of our past shows on anchor.fm/prepatch podcast.